So people in their 60s and 70s may have a prescription for Armour because they, up until a few years ago, it was more common. So 10 years ago, that's what you got. That was the gold standard of treating hypothyroidism. More and more difficult. Obviously, the FDA just came out and said that they're going to make it a biologic, so it makes it much more expensive to produce by the factories because it comes from an animal. It comes from an animal. We are animals. So the pig thyroid is exactly, is the same production as our thyroid, but, they want us to take synthetic. Then yes, that will not make you feel better.
Let's stick on the NDT. So this can be a good thing, part of your protocol for some. We want to make sure we're getting the pig thyroid versus cow. Explain the difference there.
There's a huge ratio of T4 to T3 in bovine thyroid. So the pigs produce the same ratio of T4, T3, T2, and T1. So it's not hard for you to convert. Your tissues can convert that T4 into the T3 as needed in the body. So if you have a ton of T4, it's not going to be converted into T3 that you need. That's the problem with the bovine, which is easily available as a supplement, but shouldn't be.
Is the pig more common? Is Armour always pig?
Armour is always pig because in 1890 they decided, we can cure people with this. Let's make it a pharmaceutical. So it comes from a pig. It's a pharmaceutical, and it is pharmaceutically. It's measured right. The cow is a supplement.
Okay, so for the pig, you have to go to your doctor,
or you buy it elsewhere because there are other ways to get it because it is so difficult to get.
Talk about the T1 and T2. Before reading your new book, I wasn't even aware of these. Typically, they're not talked about. Talk about their role.
Well, T2 and T1 we know have something to do with cardiovascular system. Probably T2 has something to do with the rate at which the heart beats, because people thought that it would give you energy. People who go to the gym started popping synthetic T2, thinking it would give them higher performance in the gym. That's not going to work because it's synthetic anyway. However, T1, we still don't know exactly what it does, but it is there. So there's still a lot to learn about what the thyroid does. You can't just assume that everything's TSH and T4 because that's all they test. They're not testing T2 and T1.
Bottom line, though, if we get the Armour, the pig thyroid, we're going to get T1, T2, T3, T4, and calcitonin.
Exactly.
Okay, so NDT, how do you determine if you're working with somebody, whether or not that's part of the protocol?
If they have horrifically low T4 and T3 levels, that's going to be part of the protocol. It may not be forever, but that, you see, they cannot heal. Thyroid hormone is a healing hormone, not T4 because it's inactive. But the other ones, T3, T2, T1, they are healing hormones. They are regenerating tissue. So you will, and also if your thyroid is inflamed, as I said before, you can't fix your thyroid if you're not allowing it to take a break. It is there pumping out thyroid hormone, trying its best to make you live and function optimally. If you take some from the outside, that inflammation, those cysts, those nodules can heal because your thyroid isn't falling over itself, trying to produce hormone for you.
So you've already mentioned the fact that if somebody is going through your protocol, no matter the thyroid issue, it's always the same, which is great because it simplifies. What about adrenals? Is that just part of the protocol encompassed within what we're talking about today? They'll heal as well?
Well, if a person has been undiagnosed with hypothyroidism for a long time, their adrenals are going to be shot in the sense that cortisol goes up automatically if you're hypothyroid. It's also a metabolic hormone. It's also a hormone that regulates body temperature. So cortisol will go up in order to take the place of thyroid hormone, but also if you're hypothyroid, you're in a stress state. So I usually test it because you've been in a stress state by being hypothyroid. And nobody gets to where they are without having had to abuse their adrenals inadvertently. They're physiologically abuse their adrenals.
In your book, you talk about natural adrenal extracts. How often is that part of the protocol?
It depends. So if you have an autoimmune issue, it's part of the protocol because they were giving adrenal extracts for the Spanish flu, for asthma. I've given it for asthma. It is something that will boost your immune system in the sense that there's no cortisol in it. It's just a raw material to make your pituitary turn back the production of cortisol. So, but the pituitary, if you're in a stress state, will switch off ACTH, which is what tells the adrenals to make cortisol. There's nothing wrong with the adrenals. Very rarely is there anything wrong with the adrenals. But if cortisol is high for chronically, the body will switch off, the pituitary will switch off the production of cortisol via ACTH. Because just like cortisone shots, high cortisol is very inflammatory. I mean, that burns brain tissue. It makes, pulverizes bone. So I test both.
If you enjoyed that clip, you're going to want to head over here and catch the full episode. I'll see you over there.
Thyroid hormone regulates every single tissue in the body. Regulates our genes, regulates mitochondrial function, the genesis of mitochondria. So everything, really. I treat hyper and hypo the same way. Same anti-inflammatory.